let's dive into top 10 stats. We'll go. I've got mine. I've got 5 kind of standard stats and 5 more advanced stats. You have that too?
I mixed it all in. I don't know if I have 5 and 5, but I have some traditional counting stats and then some advanced stats, but nothing too advanced.
Did you rank them?
No, just put them how I liked them. I guess I ranked them how I liked them.
All right. We'll go back and forth. I'll start with pitching, then you do hitting, and we'll go stat by stat. Cool. My first pitching stat that I want to bring to the table is that Julio Urias is the first 20-game winner since 2016.
That matters.
It matters. It doesn't matter that much. It really doesn't matter that much because I'm scrolling through win leaders on a yearly basis. And, I'm looking at some of these names. I'm like, how the hell did you end up on that list?
Yeah.
But Julio Urias winning 20 games tells me that A, Urias was really good, and B, the Dodgers were really good. That's all I got to know when Julio Urias takes them out.
When he throws, the Dodgers, they just score runs for him, bro.
Yeah.
You go through his game log and it's 8-1, 7-1, 7-2, 6-3. Not only is he pitching well, but the Dodgers show up for him. Think about this. In his start, which game did they beat the Giants on? They might lose the other 2 games with Max Scherzer and Walker Buehler.
He's also a really good hitter.
He's a good hitter. I got a DM saying that is Julio Urias a better hitter than Cody Bellinger right now?
I think so.
Cody Bellinger's having a great series, though.
He is, yeah. Postseason belly.
So here's my first stat. Omar Narvaez I'm ready to say this. Omar Narvaez is the best pitch framer in all of baseball. He led all of catchers in runs extra strikes in 2020, and then he did it again in 2021. Omar Narvaez is the best pitch framer in baseball, the catcher for the Brewers. And
Sal Perez is the worst.
Yeah, and by a lot. Not by, just slightly down there. -10 is second to last. He's -18. Omar Narvaez is at 10 runs extra strikes. Jonah Heim is 2 at 8.
Sal Perez is bad there, man. But Narvaez, I love the way Narvaez handles that pitching staff. That pitching staff makes it easy for him because they're really good. Top to bottom, that's as talented a pitching roster as Major League Baseball has, and Narvaez is the perfect guy to be catching it.
How many backdoor cutters do you think Narvaez has made strikes that were balls from Burns?
Oh, my God.
Probably the most in the history of the world.
Yeah, that's the one pitch that jumps out to me in that regard, right?
He probably got so many extra just from pulling it in at the last second every time.
Dude, the backdoor cutter is the framing pitch. Narvaez probably saw that and was like, this is my time to shine.
And then Brandon Woodruff and Freddie, and we're going down the line. Eric Lauer, Adrian Hauser, Aaron Ashby, they just keep going with the pitching.
Yeah. My second pitching stat, 4 pitchers through 200 innings this year. Walker Buehler, Zach Wheeler, Adam Wainwright, Sandy Alcantara. There were 32 pitchers that threw 200 innings in 2015. That's not long ago. 32 pitchers logged 200 innings plus in 2015. 4 did it in 2021.
Stop drinking my water. I did not know that. 32. And now it's
4.
4?
2015.
That's 2021 for you. Nobody's healthy this whole year.
Nobody's healthy. It's off of a 60-game season, but 2019 wasn't too much better. There was that crazy drop-off. I think they were at 12 in 2019. From 32, 4 years prior?
It's an incredible drop-off. As soon as you said that number, you saw me. I just put my cup down. I was like, wait a minute. Are you sure that's correct?
Yep.
That's nuts. All right. My second stat, let's give a little bit more credit to Salvador Perez. Salvador Perez and Marcus Semien both set the record for home runs at their position this year. That matters. When is the last time that you've seen 2 position players set home run records at their position in the same season. I know you may have known that they did it, but the likelihood of 150 years of baseball that two players in the same season at two different positions set the record for home runs.
At maybe the two most power-starved positions in baseball, second base and catcher.
Exactly.
Who was the last true power threat that played second base? Jeff Kent?
That's a good one. I mean, Cano. Cano was a real power threat.
Robbie Cano. Yeah, okay, Cano. I was going to say Dan Uggla, but he wasn't good enough.
But he had some years. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Dan Uggla's a good answer.
I'd say Cano is the most recent good one. And then
does Alfonso Soriano count as the second baseman?
No, he did his power hitting as a corner outfielder.
Yeah, true.
How about catchers? I mean, who's the last mega power catcher you remember?
Gary, that 1 year.
Piazza?
Mike Piazza? Yeah.
Like Piazza. I think, what the hell? Like,
I mean, that was the record he broke.
Those are very weak positions power-wise.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it.
So I guess it's not the craziest, but I mean, when's the last time two players, two different positions set the record for home runs? I think it's kind of crazy. And I like it. I like home runs. So
yeah, Jason Stark could tell you the answer to that. I'm not going to tell you the answer to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
As a league, pitchers averaged 8.9 strikeouts per 9 innings. It's the same clip as 2019 to share the title of the highest rate in the sport's history. Only time that clip exceeded a strikeout per inning was in the COVID-shortened 2020 season. So we are closer than ever before to a strikeout per inning from major league pitchers.
Wow.
Game's changed.
Yeah. Home runs, strikeouts, walks. A lot. I mean, you're going to hear a lot of those stats within these top 10 because we feel like it's painting a picture of how the season went.
Yep.
And just to talk more about home runs, how about a power surge from a guy who we never thought it would come back again? Joey Votto hit 36 home runs this year. He hit 37 home runs from 2018 to the end of 2020. COVID shortened season, I get it. So 2.5 years of production into one season. I thought that was kind of crazy.
That's totally crazy. Joey Votto, for some reason, tapped into this power. And he said it was a mental switch for him. It wasn't necessarily physical because he's always looked like that. But it was that mental approach of saying, I'm okay swinging and missing a little bit more. I'm going to get a lot more power in my game. And he did it perfectly.
I mean, he almost hit 40 jacks.
Does that prove he's a Hall of Famer?
He's got to be close. I mean, one of the best pure hitters of our generation.
Yeah.
Will he get in with... Does he... I hate that I don't know this. I should know this. Does he have an MVP?
I think he's got an MVP. I should know this too.
Doesn't he have one? Why do I think that he does?
I'll tell you after I rip off this stat here.
Okay.
Mark Melancon led the league in saves. That's it. That's my stat. I was not expecting
a team that was under 500.
I just wasn't expecting Mark Melancon to lead the league in saves in 2021.
Like how you said that, you're like, I just don't. I mean, I didn't call it either.
I mean, shit. I thought Liam Hendricks was going to do it easy. After that, I thought, Diego Castillo had a shot. I thought Alex Colomé had a shot because I thought the Twins were going to win a bunch of games. Like, not once did I think that.
So an aging Mark Melancon coming over to the Padres didn't immediately make you think league leader in saves?
No. Joey Votto won an MVP in 2010. He finished as the runner-up in 2017, and he finished in third in 2015. So he's got 3 top 3 finishes and an MVP.
How many hits career? Was he 2 something?
2027. He's got 330 home runs. He's a member of the 1,000 RBI club, and he is a career 300 hitter with a career 937 OPS.
If he does a couple more years, he's in.
Yeah.
He's got to do this again.
Yeah.
Like if he just falls back into oblivion of 11 home runs a year, I mean, what do we do?
Right. I'd say no.
I'd say no too. So how about my stat? Juan Soto swung at just 35% of pitches this year. That's the lowest swing rate since 2017 with at least 600 plate appearances. The guy swung 35% of the time and hit 29 bombs and hit over 300 with a WRC plus north of 160. He was, whenever he did swing, like the plate discipline of a 22-year-old. The plate discipline of a 22-year-old, that you have the lowest swing percentage in baseball, yet do some of the most damage. How can you already be the most disciplined, Juan Soto? How?
He's Ted Williams.
Are we like dicks for saying that? Like, if like, because if I was, I mean, I feel like if I told my dad that Juan Soto is Ted Williams, he'd be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't see, like, you don't know really what Ted Williams was. I don't know.
Has your dad watched Juan Soto?
Yeah.
Right? He's 22.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like immediately calling him Ted Williams for a 22-year-old is a bit much.
Okay. So look at,
but I've done it before.
Look at your computer though, right? Like look at the spreadsheets, look at the numbers, look at all that stuff. It says Juan Soto at this point is comparable to trending in the way that Ted Williams finished. And then you watch him with your eyes and you say, this guy's the best hitter I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's 22 years old.
Not only the best, the most fun in the box to watch. The Soto shuffle, the grabbing of the cup and just staring down the eyes of the opposing pitcher. This kid was doing it at 20. He's doing it at 22. He's going to do it at 40. He's electric, and I love him.
Staying in the Mid-Atlantic, but as bad as you could possibly get. You just hit us with Juan Soto being really good. This is really bad. The Orioles had a 5.84 ERA as a staff. That's 73 points higher than the next highest team. And that is the largest difference between any two teams, 1 through 30. So the difference from 29 to 30 is a bigger drop off than 16 to 17 or anywhere else. The Orioles are so far and away the absolute worst as a pitching staff.
Is that just rotation?
That's pitching
staff. Because my next question was going to be, go to the bullpen ERA leaders and look how much worse the Orioles bullpen is than the second worst. The last time I checked, I think it was 5.79 for the Orioles and like 5.24 for the D-backs. I think it was a full half run worse than the second worst, which is an incredible amount if we're talking ERA for a bullpen.
You rip off your stat and I'll give you an answer.
I want to go back. I was going to skip over the Juan Soto one to come back to it, but let's just keep on the Juan Soto train. No player has had a higher walk rate since 2005 than Juan Soto's 22.2% walk rate in 2021. The dude was walking almost a quarter of the time. I cannot believe it. That's all I got. I can't believe what he's doing.
I can't believe what he's doing either. I've got your answer for you, by the way. Orioles at 5.70, Nats at 5.08. The Orioles, Nats, and D-backs were the only three teams in baseball with a bullpen ERA over 5. Giants, Dodgers, Rays were the three best bullpens in terms of ERA. That shows you literally good and bad. So the three best teams in baseball at the end of the regular season had the three best bullpen ERAs. You could argue that the three worst teams in baseball had the three worst bullpen ERAs.
Do you know how many games this year I have won betting against the Orioles and that bullpen? Do you know how many times Cesar Valdez has come in with 76. His 84-mile-an-hour changeup and just blown it every single game? It could be down. Like, I remember so clearly, July, summer, White Sox, Orioles. Orioles are up 6-2 going into the 8th. The White Sox covered the spread. They covered the spread. Orioles bullpen, not good.
My first advanced stat that I want to throw at you. These are the top 6 qualified pitchers in baseball in limiting line drives. Lowest line drive percentage among qualified pitchers. Garrett Cole, Lance McCullers, Yu Darvish, Max Scherzer, Robbie Ray, and Julio Urias. The bottom 6 in allowing line drives. Brandon Woodruff, Lucas Giolito, Cole Irvin, Wade Miley, Zach Greinke. Although we obsess over strikeouts, the best tool in a pitcher's kit should be limiting line drives and hard contact. And there are some outliers there. You know, you've got Woodruff and Giolito with very high line drive rates against. But Cole Irvin and Wade Miley, compared to Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer and Robbie Ray, don't allow line drives.
Goes to show you, always need high octane stuff. Pitchability is the most important part of baseball. Most important part of pitching. Do you know how to pitch? Are you a thrower versus a pitcher?
Yep.
That question is asked a lot, moving up the ranks from little league to high school to college to the minors to the majors. Are you a pitcher or are you a thrower?
Throwers get drafted. Pitchers break into the show.
Bang. All right, yeah, let's move on to some advanced stats. These aren't that advanced, but, you know, a little bit more advanced. Let's start with my Yankees. From June 1st on, Brett Gardner was 4th on the Yankees in WRC plus with a minimum of 200 at bats. You want to run Brett Gardner out of town, but look back, he was the 4th best hitter on the Yankees for most of the season. What else do you want me to say?
Nothing, I'm good.
Just say your goddamn stat.
He's just not sexy. Let's talk pitch values. Best fastballs, hardest fastballs are 2 very different things.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the value of fastballs on Fangraphs using standardized runs allowed by pitch. So the most valuable fastballs in terms of runs in Major League Baseball. Number 1, Max Scherzer, hard. Number 2, Walker Buehler, hard.
Dodgers.
Number 3, Brandon Woodruff, hard.
Hard.
Number 4, Zach Wheeler, very hard.
Fast as shit.
Number 5, Anthony DeSclafani, who's 94.
Bang.
Number 6, Adam Wainwright, 89 miles an hour. Throwing a fastball really hard is the easier way to have success, but if you have mastery of a low velocity fastball and you can pump it up and inside on these guys, it can still be a top 10 fastball in baseball.
He's throwing 91 mile an hour fastballs at the hip, and it's bending back in from lefties. It's tailing away from lefties if you throw on the outside corner and they're just flailing at it. It's moving into right-handers, just fists off. Seems like they're late. No, it's just moving like nobody's business.
89 is the 6th most valuable fastball in baseball.
Isn't that, if you don't throw 90, let's say you're a high school pitcher right now that's throwing 89. I mean, if you're throwing 89 in high school, you got a pretty bright future ahead of you. But let's say you're throwing 84 and you're looking for offers. There is a path. Do not believe that it's just velo. There is a path. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
This one is I just laughed when I saw this one. Raimel Tapia's 67.4% ground ball rate is the highest ground ball rate since 2005 with at least 500 at bats. We made fun of Eric Hosmer all year, but it was really Raimel Tapia just hammering 2/3 of every ball he hits straight into the ground. Oh, that's kind of funny.
It is very funny.
Highest since 2005.
I was looking at Raimel Tapia too. I was just like, holy shit, dude. 'Cause, we talk about Eric Hosmer and those types of guys just like drilling the ball into the ground, but
Yeah.
there's somebody that does it way more than anybody else.
Raimel Tapia.
Let's stay on ground balls. I've got one referring to ground balls. You ready? 7 pitchers in Major League Baseball had a negative average launch angle against them, meaning that they were the 7 best ground ball pitchers in the sport. 2 starters. Can you name the 2 starters?
Oh, ground ball rate. I mean, it could be anybody. Just tell me.
They're postseason starters. One of them just shoved.
Gausman.
Logan Webb.
Shove. Logan Webb. I'm duh, Peter.
Slider. Other is Framber Valdez.
Oh.
Yep. And then the 5 relievers. Aaron Bummer led the way. Clay Holmes was second. Richard Blyer of the Marlins was third. Shout out Aram. Mark fucking Melancon fourth.
What a beast.
And then Emmanuel Clase and his 101 mile an hour cutter averaged a negative launch angle against him.
Think about how many times it was like negative 45 degrees when someone just sawed it right off the handle of the bat and it went straight down to the catcher. Like, I bet he had so many of those that helped him out.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, he obviously produced a lot of ground balls, but if we're talking about negative launch angles, like in the absolute, I feel like a sawed off grounder straight into the ground, it's probably going to help your launch angle there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk Randy Rosarina, Mr. October. Pitchers were scared of him going into this year, and it was obvious. No player has seen less fastballs in a season since 2015 than a Randy Rosarina in 2021. He only saw 41% fastballs. They were scared of the man, and he proved it in October.
It's Dr. October to you.
Dr. October, I like it.
He's so good, dude.
I mean, we were on him a lot because we were like, oh, why should he win Rookie of the Year? Why should he win Rookie of the Year? He's been in the league, it seems like, for 5 years. And while we were doing that, we didn't give him the credit that he deserves. He's a fantastic player, and he's going to be a really good player for a really long time.
He is. He's also a freak athlete. Like, he's strong. He's fast.
Absolutely. So much fun to watch.
All right. Next one's trivia here.
Okay.
There were 12 players who registered a knuckleball thrown in a game this year.
Oh, that is crazy.
How many do you think were true pitchers?
Oh. And you said 12?
There were 12 players that threw a knuckleball.
6 pitchers, 6 position players.
1 pitcher.
No way.
11 position players dicking around and 1 pitcher. 33-year-old Mickey Janis threw in 1 game for the Baltimore Orioles. It was the only major league appearance of his career. His final line, 3 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 4 walks, 3 home runs surrendered.
What did he even do? Did he even show up?
I don't know. It's the only knuckleballer we have in Major League Baseball right now.
Let's talk another Tampa Bay Ray that is also younger than Randy, and is going to end up to be a Hall of Famer. Over his last 180 plate appearances, Wander Franco has a 6% strikeout rate. 6. And a 149 WRC plus. Victor Martinez and Jose Reyes are the only players to have less than a 7% strikeout rate and more than a 140 WRC plus in that many at bats. Wander is okay. All right. I'm gonna say this on the podcast now because I really do want to say it. And I just want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think Wander Franco will be the second best shortstop by next year.
behind
Second best
Tatis.
shortstop by next year, behind Tatis. And I think he will eventually become a better player than Fernando Tatis Jr.
He's going to strike out a lot less than Tatis. He's going to play better defense. Yeah.
Tatis is going to hit 45 home runs, something Wander can't do.
Wander's not going to do it.
But Wander can hit 30.
Yeah,
but 315.
And Tatis is going to steal more bases.
Yeah. What do you value? Do you value the much better defender who hits? I mean, Wander could hit 320, 330. He's going to win batting titles. If he hits 30 home runs, then you're kind of like, is Tatis really the better shortstop?
You start splitting hairs there.
You do. You start splitting hairs because you're like, okay, you got one guy who's 290 with 45 jacks and 30 stolen bases. Right. And the other guy's 300 with 30 bombs. And
I would love
it's like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll take either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how highly I think of this guy.
Wow. So who's on the outside looking in there? Correa,
Seager, Xander, Story, I guess you could say.
Tim
if
Anderson.
You move Semien back to short, I don't know. You got to put him in somewhere.
Damn. Yeah.
Because then you start kind of pulling back layers of some guys. Because then you look at Xander Bogaerts and you're like, well, Wander could be a better defender. Look at Trey Turner. I mean, Trey Turner's such a dog, but then Trey Turner's moving to second. Does he stay at second? I don't know. There's a lot of moving pieces there. Like Wander Franco or Bo Bichette.
Wander.
Okay. And it's that obvious to you. And Bo Bichette's a top 10 shortstop.
Yeah.
There you go.
Going forward now, I think the only guy that I would take over Wander is Tatis.
Exactly. And I'm getting on it early.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was talking about that during the live and people were like, I think Wander's now overrated. And I thought that was a hilarious take because I was like, actually, you know what? You're right. For all of us just hurrying up to pile on the Wander train is actually making him overrated.
Yeah, I think so. This is my last note. Velocity is tightening its stranglehold on modern pitching. Average fastball velocity is up about a tick over the past 5 years, but you can see it best within new pitchers and team identity. What I mean by new pitchers, rookies and minor leaguers are throwing harder than ever. Let's take Hunter Green, for example. His Double-A debut this year with Chattanooga, early May 6th, he threw 71 pitches, 43 were fastballs. 37 of his 43 fastballs were over 100 miles an hour. That's velocity. And I understand he is the king of velocity in minor league baseball, but that's what everybody wants to be. Now, team identity. The White Sox constructed their pitching staff to deliver constant velocity. As a team, they threw over 6,600 pitches north of 95 miles an hour. That's 1,500 more than any other team. And the top velocity staff in 2020, the Tampa Bay Rays. So if you adopt this team-wide approach of shoving hard fastballs, you're going to be successful now.
But they're playing the Astros. Is that a bad matchup? You know what I'm saying? That might just be a bad matchup for the White Sox.
You drew the best fastball hitting team in baseball.
Exactly. So it's not, you're saying that you'll have success. And I think you're right. I just think when you're talking about the White Sox and the Astros, when we're talking about it right now, that doesn't look good. But over a much larger sample size, it's obvious that it's working.
They won 95 games.
Yeah. I mean, they were in a bad division, but I won't pile on your White Sox.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Kidding. They're a really good team. My last one is the craziest one, I think. Not only did Aaron Judge have the highest hard hit rate in the StatCast era, that's since 2015, at 57.9%, but 5 other players finished above 2017 Aaron Judge, who held the record. Those 5 players were Salvador Perez, Fernando Tatis Jr., Giancarlo Stanton, Miguel Sano, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So that means 6 of the top in hard hit rate since the StatCast era began in 2015. 2021 owns 6 of the top 6. Is that not kind of nuts?
This game is just different than anything we've ever experienced within it.
Yeah. 6. All the top 6.
That's nutty. Miguel Sano, what the hell is he doing in there?
Out here raking.
God.
Remember, hard hit rate. So
Right.
it's all the balls you hit. Miguel Sano strikes out a lot, but all the balls he's hitting, he's raking them.
Yeah. No, you can strike out 1 billion times. It doesn't matter.
That's the thing about some of these stats. It's like you got a little more context in the middle of them.
Man. Yeah, this was fun. This was a good rundown of those stats.